So let me get this straight. You went against my advice and started a porta potty rental company. Maybe you've got the brand of toilet that you want to use, you've got your vacuum truck, and you've even got your deodorizer so that you know how to do a service. And now you even know how to do your own sales. But there's one thing that you're missing. Okay. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the costs that are involved in servicing a porta potty, and also how I price my rentals to make sure that I'm doing it correctly and pricing to make a profit. If you price too low, you're not going to be able to cover your costs and you're going to be working for free. But on the other side, if you put your prices too high, you're going to scare away all of your customers and they're going to go with your competition instead. The very first thing I recommend doing is calling all of your competition and making a spreadsheet with all of their pricing and also what their policies are. Ask them if they have any additional fees, what types of products they offer, so then you know exactly where you stand in regards to your competition. And trust me, your competition is probably doing the exact same to you. And let's be clear, you don't want to be known for having the cheapest price in town. We want to be known for having the best value. Make sure to charge what your services are worth, and the customers who value good service are going to be the ones that pay for it. And those are the kind of customers that we want. Now, before we decide and set our prices, let's dive into what it really costs to service a porta potty. First, we have disposal fees. This will be what your local wastewater treatment plant charges for dumping. A good estimate is going to be around 10 cents per gallon. Usually they're going to charge you based on the full capacity of your tank, whether it's full or not. So if you have a 1,000-gallon tank, you can assume it's going to cost you $100 to dump it. During each service, we fill each toilet back up with about 5 gallons of water. So depending on the usage, it's usually between 5 and 8 gallons per porta potty when you're servicing it. But for events, it can be a lot higher, more like 40 to 50 gallons per toilet. So if you go with an estimate of about 10 gallons per toilet, that's gonna end up costing you $1 in disposal per service. Then we have the chemicals. This is gonna be your holding tank deodorizer, scent enhancers, and also your cleaning chemicals. So let's say $1 for your deodorizer and your fragrances, and then another $1 for your cleaning chemicals. That's your bleach, your disinfectant, degreaser, urine cleaner, graffiti remover, etc. We also have our paper supplies. 3 rolls of 2-ply toilet paper and a pack of seat covers. Make sure to find a good janitorial supply company, and you should be paying probably between 50 cents and $1 per roll of toilet paper, and a pack of seat covers will probably be a couple dollars. I know in a lot of places they don't include these, so you don't have to include them in your budget, but in the Bay Area almost every company does, so we have to provide them in order to be competitive. And then for our hand wash stations, right, you're gonna need packs of paper towels, and then we've got some soap to refill the soap dispensers. And now each service, you're probably not gonna have to replace all of the supplies in every toilet, right? You're not always gonna get to a stop and all the paper is gonna be gone, all the soap's gonna be gone. But I always like to round up when I'm estimating my cost, and I always assume that I'm gonna have to replace all of my paper supplies. So then it's all included in my potential cost. And then when you get to do a service and they've got some stuff left over, that's just a bonus. It is way better to overestimate and round up, and always make sure you're charging for the worst case scenario. And in addition to that, 2 of our main cost drivers are gonna be fuel and labor. If my drivers can average doing 4 services per route, then that's gonna push that route into profitable territory. To make math easy, let's say the driver makes $20 per hour and does 4 services per hour. So then that's gonna be about $5 in labor per toilet that he's doing. So you need to make sure to factor that into the cost. And then with gas or diesel, it's gonna be about $5 per gallon. And I like to estimate between 1/4 of a tank or half a tank per toilet, which again is obviously gonna be high, but that's what I factor into the cost. So maybe like $1 or $2 in diesel per stop. So if we take all those numbers and add them up, we're gonna get a cost per service of $16.50. But that's just our cost of goods sold. There's so much that is not included in that price, like truck maintenance, insurance, administrative fees, truck supplies, and a bunch of other costs that you need to cover. So you need to make sure that you're charging enough to cover those expenses and also to clear a profit at the end of the day. Now, I want you to reframe thinking about renting your toilets as a cost per month and instead reframe it and think about it as cost per touch. This is the price that you're getting from your customers every single time you visit their site. So let's say we want to be making at least $30 per service or every time that we visit a customer's site. That means using this math, we need to charge $120 per month in order to get $30 every time that we service the customer's toilet. And this isn't just for servicing. You want to be getting this every single time you visit a customer's job. That means for delivery and pickup, I want to be charging $30 each way. So it'd be $60 total for delivery and pickup. On top of that, you can add a small rental fee on the toilet itself, let's say $10 or $15 per month, in order to recoup the cost of purchasing the toilet. So we add that on top of our rental fee, and that will give us $130 to $135 per month. A very important part of this whole billing structure is to make sure that you're billing your customers on a 28-day billing cycle rather than a 30 or 31-day month. This is gonna break your rental period up into a nice 4-week period to make sure that you're charging for 4 cleanings every single billing cycle. If you have a 30-day billing cycle, there's gonna be some months where a customer is gonna get 5 services instead of 4, and you're pretty much doing that service for free. This needs to be an industry standard already, so make sure to implement the 28-day billing cycle. And a bonus tip, you should also bill your customers in advance, not in arrears, so you're getting that cash up front instead of waiting to actually do the work in order to get paid. It'll help your cash flow a lot. And in addition to your base rate, there are some additional fees that you can add on in order to protect your margin. Personally, I like to build everything into my base price because I want a simple price that I think that my customers can understand and they don't feel like they're getting nickel and dimed. But that doesn't mean you can't add them. So I have some ideas for you. First, we have credit card processing fees. We all know that it costs money to process credit card fees, so I view it as a cost of doing business and we absorb that fee on behalf of the customer, but you definitely can pass that fee along, and anytime somebody uses a credit card, you charge them that 2.5% or 3%, so then you're not losing that on the back end. Next, we have fuel surcharges. So we all know that the price of gas is always going up and down, and in some months it's worse than others. To try and combat this, you can add a one-time fuel surcharge on your delivery fee or a recurring monthly fuel surcharge that can go up and down depending on the price of gas. I've seen this done as a flat rate across an entire invoice or also a percentage of the invoice. And you can add it or take it off as you please. And the last one that I'm personally not a fan of is an environmental or a compliance fee. Some people refer to it as an EEC. Now, usually this is charged as a percentage of the entire value of the invoice, but it's a completely made up fee. There is no such thing as an environmental or compliance fee that we have to pay in order to operate the business. This is just a way for companies to add extra margin on top of their order, and they're just hoping that customers aren't going to question it. That's why a lot of times when I'm giving out quotes, the customers are gonna ask, hey, do you guys have any additional fees? It's because there's other companies out there that charge this. So, and like I said, personally, I'm not a fan of adding these extra fees. I like to have an all-in-one price for the customer, but there's no one stopping you from charging them. So if you think you can get away with it, I say go for it. When you're out in the field trying to make sales, it can feel like a never-ending race to the bottom. It will always seem like there's other players out there who are willing to cut their prices in order to win a job, but I'm telling you, don't do it. Stay strong and firm on your pricing and you'll thank me later. But that doesn't mean to never give discounts. If you use them strategically, that can be great. I usually try to offer them for bigger orders or as a one-time discount for first-time customers. But you can't be handing them out to everybody because they add up fast. You want to always try and get your full price as often as you can. And a big question I get asked is, do I offer a discount for multiple times a week service? I personally believe that you shouldn't, because your costs are going to remain the same whether you clean that toilet once a week or twice a week. The second time you go out there, it's still costing you the same in gas and supplies as your other toilets that you're only cleaning once a week. So if you're charging $30 per touch on the first cleaning, you should be charging $30 per touch on the second one. And some people even charge more for the second service because they're not even close by in that area, so they're actually spending more time and more gas. That being said, in order to try and provide more value to your customers and also boost your revenue, try these upsells to your customers who are ready to place orders. Put an interior sink inside of your toilet, and then you can charge more per month, and all you need is a little bit of water, soap, and a packet of paper towels. Containment trays prevent runoff from servicing, and you can charge an additional rental fee per month per tray. You can also have trailers built for your toilets, and you can charge an additional fee for the rental of the trailer. Another great option is a combination lock. It adds a few dollars to your rental and can prevent your unit from being vandalized. These items don't cost extra to service, but they add some extra revenue to each rental. All right, so now let's recap. First, you want to research your market to see where your competition is, calculate all of your costs that go into your service, and then price your product for profit. You need to think in terms of cost per touch. That ensures that you're making money every single time you go out to your customer's job site. And lastly, make sure that you are billing on a 28-day period. Honestly, if you take away anything from this video, that is the most important tip. And remember, fewer customers at a higher price is better than a lot of customers at rock bottom pricing. Nobody likes to work for free. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you like this kind of content, let me know what other questions that you have and I'll do my best to cover them. If you want something a little bit more entertaining, check out this video where I went to Las Vegas and delivered some porta potties for the Raiders. And you already know, I'll see you next time.